May 20th, 1995, the first article is published on sexual abuse in USAG. In the article, the introduction discusses how many people were in shock and denial that Joseph Fountain, a favorited coach at the time, was charged on 4 counts of sexual abuse. The article is quoted by saying, "Quietly, USA Gymnastics, the federation that governs the sport, has begun expelling coaches, trying to stifle a problem before it victimizes more children." Over the past 6 years, the Federation has kicked out 11 coaches for sexual abuse. Their names are published annually on a sort of banned list in the Federation's magazine, although there is no specific explanation given in the termination. The victims are more than 20 boys and girls in total. We are currently fairly pleased that this is 11 coaches and not 400. But let's not be silly about it. You never know, said David Moskowitz, membership director for USAG. 7 coaches were convicted of crimes ranging from exposure to rape. In an 8th case, a prominent coach was convicted for fondling his own children, not the gymnasts. A 9th coach's conviction for statutory rape was overturned, but he was still banned after an independent investigation by the Federation determined that he had violated its code of ethics. The remaining 2 coaches were never convicted by a court, but were ousted under the Federation's international disciplinary system. We had an environment that, in my opinion, and in the opinion of our athletes, was somewhat encouraging or opportune for many people of low moral standards to take advantage of, said Mike Jackie, former executive director of USAG who started the anti-abuse program. The article continues to discuss sexual abuse, including an interview with Don Peters, who at the time is a well-respected coach for being the head coach of the 1984 Olympics. He stated in the article that he has implemented safeguards, stating that he does not allow male coaches to be alone with gymnasts anymore. What is confusing about the article is that the number of names that does not add up. In my research, I have found that there is more than 11 people that USAG and Safe Sport currently has listed before May of 1995. There's actually 18 people and not 11. This is confusing. According to a lawsuit years later, USAG would neglect 54 coaches' complaints from 1996 to 2006. Based on this information, it's possible that some of those who are now on the list were neglected as well at that time. Based on my research, I believe that the man who abused his children may have been Larry Dutch. This may have been because I never found information of child abuse in gymnastics from him. The overturned 9th coach is Steve Wapples, who I will discuss later. The 2 coaches listed as not convicted could be Rick Feuerstein and William Munsinger. This is because both do not have listed as sexual abuse under their charges in Safe Sport. I wonder if that is because they weren't formally charged at the time. When you research the 2, you cannot find reasons as to why they are on the list. The 7th coach that was convicted of child abuse could include Joseph Fountain, Roy Larry Gallagher, Robert Gardner, Robert Dean Head, John Howard Rowe, and William Etheridge. It's noted in public records of him working with Dick Mulvihill at his gym and being charged in 1987 for 3rd-degree rape and 3rd-degree sodomy of a 15-year-old. William Etheridge is no longer on either Safe Sport or USAG's list. This could be because he is dead, and similarly to John Getter and Marvin Sharp. The issue I'm running into, though, is that if you counted just now, I only listed 6 of the 7 people stated in the article. It is really hard and tedious to find people in a specific magazine when it's only posted once a year in 8-point font. Based on my list from Safe Sport and USAG, we now know that there's actually 19 people on the list and not 11. Of the 11 people, there is 8 that weren't discussed. This 7th person could be Blake Steven Stair, 1993, Steve Shirley, 1993, Brent Schroeder, 1993, Freddie Eugene Tafoya, 1994. Ricardo Chico Goddard, 1994. Frank Homan, 1994. William Permenter, 1994. But I think if you were to ask me, the seventh person is Vince Brown. He has a long history with abuse and was charged in 1992. He was placed on suspension in 1993 on the Technique magazine by USAG. The most likely reason that I have found 19 and not 11 coaches is because at this time, USAG is hiding a list of coaches from the public, which includes 8 of these coaches that I've just discussed. USAG is aware that there is a sexual abuse problem, but those in power, like Mike Jackie and Kathy Kelly, are not addressing the issue. Instead, they do receive reports and they file them in a cabinet, not telling people that these coaches are harming children. It also discusses a former national team male gymnast who was abused for 4 years. He stated, "I remember when I was 11 or 12 thinking, does this mean I'm gay since I'm the only one he's doing it to? Do I exclude something that makes him do this to me?" The gymnast retired at 19 when he was one of the best in the country. 7 years later, that coach would sell his gym and retire when allegations of him started to form. He instead began to work at an elementary school before retiring from that job in 1995. To this day, I have no idea who this male gymnast is because it was never put on the ban list. This is because the coach's membership had lapsed for when the list was created. I'm not sure who this gymnast was, but the only one that comes to my mind is Chris Riegel and Larry Moyer's relationship from the 70s and 80s. In the situation of this male coach, Moskovitz said that the coach's file would be reopened and would be denied membership unless a court would find him innocent. There are many individuals who get themselves in trouble when they are no longer a member, but we keep their names, so should they want to reinstate their membership, we can look back at these complaints.